What do you do when your sibling is always excluding another sibling from family events? This is an email we got from a Bert Show listener.
Hi, everybody. I am one of 4 children. Typically, everyone meets for Memorial Weekend to pay respect to our parents with a cemetery visit and lunch. I was going down to see my daughter this year instead. When I was speaking to one of my siblings a few weeks back, they made a comment that they weren't meeting up as they typically do for Memorial Day because they were going to be out of town. They were going to be meeting up with my other sibling for the weekend. Then they then stated, oh, by the way, the other sibling is not invited, so don't say anything to them. They didn't want my siblings' 3 teen kids coming. I'm sure it was just a sibling get-together and nobody was bringing their kids. They invited me too, but it would have been an additional 3-hour drive each way from where I was originally going, and it was too much driving for me. It ticked me off that they were excluding this sibling. In grade school, you learn that you invite everyone. They should have just stated, no kids, and then everyone makes the choice whether or not they attend. The spouse of my sibling that I had spoken with texted and stated that they were sorry that they missed me, but that I could come down for the 4th of July weekend and go on a boating trip with the family. Apparently, everyone is invited to this. This is the first time I am hearing of this, and we have a family texting thread. There are other times that they have met with their other family members and have excluded me, but they don't know that I know. I'm so tired of them taking it upon themselves to exclude family members from family things. In this instance, they probably didn't tell me because I live so far away. I'm sure my mom is turning in her grave. Her biggest fear after she was gone was that our family would not stay connected. Kind wishes, excluded.
Yeah, so, I have a younger brother. I don't have multiple siblings. So I am wondering, I'm sure that's I want to say more complicated dynamic, but anytime you're excluded, it feels horrible. And I would imagine being excluded from family events would be even more harsh. So for you, one, my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry that you're feeling this way and they're doing these things to make you feel this way. The only thing I can think of is expressing yourself that, hey, it hurts when I'm excluded from certain events. Can you explain why I didn't get invited and give them a chance to explain themselves? Not that that really matters, but I would put it on them to be like, hey, see what their excuse is or what their explanation is, and then just stand up for yourself and be like, hey, in the future, you're my siblings. I love you. I think we should just make a point to reach out to each other and to invite everybody so nobody feels excluded, because that's a really crappy feeling.
Yeah, I've seen firsthand over the years how just excluding different family members from different events can really take a toll on the family as a whole and on the individuals who was a part of it. So,
could you imagine inviting one sister and not the other?
No, that's not a thing.
No.
Yeah, it's a package deal, and that's the way it's supposed to be. For me, I certainly agree with what was stated about if you want to say no kids, and you say no kids and you let everybody take it from there. But I think at the end, she nailed it. If it were me, I would feel like, you know what, I got to step up for mom, because sometime grandma passed away, and now somebody has to step up and kind of take the torch. I think that's what she has to do. She has to be honest and be forthcoming and speak to the family and kind of hold it down the way that she believes mom would, so that you can keep the family together as best as you can.
Yeah, and I've said before that I'm very confrontational, which sounds like, oh, why would you want any kind of confrontation or conflict? But when you have these really hard conversations where you ask those difficult questions of, well, why am I not being invited? Even though it's really hard in the moment, I think in the long run, it takes the pressure valve off these tensions that we can build up in our head, like especially with family, where, maybe you have some built up resentment from over the years, and they did this to you and they did that to you and blah, 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 blah. And you start to unwittingly become like someone who doesn't want to invite this person. But when you finally put everything out on the table and you talk about those real reasons as to why you're not getting invited, like, you open up the conversation for healing to happen. And I think Mo's right. Like, you got to do it for mom, because what's their excuse? Like, they're not inviting you because of what? Like, it's a family thing. So if it's a family thing, all families should be involved.
Hey, Mary Beth, thanks so much for joining the conversation. So your husband's family excludes people?
I wouldn't say excludes people, but they do what they want. If 2 of the sisters, there's 5 girls, 2 boys. The boys used to never be invited until the sister-in-laws got involved, and then they started inviting us. But It really bothered me at first, and then I started getting used to it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. It's like if I get invited, I feel like, oh, that's nice. So-and-so's having us over for dinner. It might be us. We never know who's going to be there and who's not going to be there.
So for you, because there's 5, it's like,
Yeah, there's 7 total, actually.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I think maybe it's because it's a bigger number.
Yeah.
Now, my family had 5, and it was always everyone's invited. No matter what, you invite everyone. Some incredibly awkward situations arose from that. And honestly, my mom's gone, and we're not very close. We barely see each other. My husband's family, they're closer than ever.
Really? All right. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
The Bert Show.